Hello, everybody, and happy Monday. It is Monday. Have Candy and Debbie with me today. How's everybody doing?
Hi, ladies.
Jello, everybody.
Hello.
Jello. I slept with one last night. You slept with Jello last night?
No, a heating pad.
Oh. Good morning, Toby. Good morning, Glynis. Jello.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, Sandy's flat in bed.
Yeah.
She slept with a heating pad, I'm sure.
I'm with you, Sandy. We had a bad dog this morning. My back's killing me now.
Oh, man.
It's the morning of the heating pad before we're live.
Morning of the heating pad.
Yeah.
Well, you can still watch in bed with the heating pad, and that's totally okay. You can always make later. Oh, let's see.
That's Wendy, right? Paper Rooster.
Paper Rooster. Yeah, that's Wendy. Good morning, Wendy. There's Judy. And let's see, Laura. Did I say hello to Laura? Scrolling down. Morning, Wendy. Had some fun at Wendy's sale last week. Glynis. Said hi to Glynis. All right. So there's 10. There's 10 here. Ready to go. Hi, Julie. Happy Monday. Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to Julie. It is Tuesday in Australia. Who is going to play with doilies with us today?
I'm watching.
Hi, Dawn. Hey, KK. Yeah, as soon as we go live, it sends out the notification to everybody, and then everybody who had a few minutes to wait and then forgot. That's what I do. Oh, I got 15 minutes. I'll just wait. I got 15 minutes. I'll do this or that while I'm waiting, and then I forget.
Yep.
It's that old brain, Margie's still asleep. Quiet. All right.
Well, let's get good and rowdy, ladies. Loud. Get really loud.
Get really loud for Margie. You gotta wake her up. Gotta wake her up. There is no sleeping through Monday Jumpstart, Margie. All right. Doesn't anybody have doilies? Hi, Kathy. Hi, Sandy. Sandy has no doilies on her. On her Lou. Kathy, I'll bet Kathy's playing with us today. Toby, do you have any doilies playing along with us? Some of you bought a big old pack of doilies in October when we did that big sale on our public page. And in fact, would you grab that link, please, Candy?
Which one?
The public page.
Oh, yeah.
There's a Happy Paper People private group on Facebook, and then there's a Happy Paper People public page on Facebook. And we are going to have more things going on the public page. We are going to also post the links to all of these events and, when we have the lives on the public page. Hi, Gigi. So that other people can see it as well while we keep the group private. And we are going to have some sale items on the public page. Sometimes there's things that just don't want to wait until the next sale to show you or to get out, or it's something really special, or there's only one or two of them and it's just some really special, cool item. So we're going to be doing some stuff like that on the public page, or it's something that if you don't already have these, here's some, because we're going to be using them, coming up, like the envelope packs for $2. So we can make envelope journals, things like that. So if you haven't, Candy put the public page link in the chat right there. If you haven't already followed that public page, please do. And what's really important is that you check the notifications right there and make sure that it notifies you every time there's a post. This is not a place where everybody just goes in and posts pictures and things like the group. We'll keep that in the private group. But in the public page, you'll want to know every time there's a post, because it means that there's something. Either it's an event going on, or something special, or some special sale item, or some special challenge, or drawing, or things like that. So make sure that you set it to notify you whenever there is a post on there. Hi, Sylvia. Oh, so glad you're being loud to wake Margie up. Without doilies, because I'm tired. Cooked for 150. Oh my gosh. Fed 200. You gotta get me on coffee. Well, we're happy to have you here with your giant cup of coffee, loud and proud to keep Margie awake. So we're glad to have everybody here. So anybody that has doilies can play along today. And if you don't, you could use paper. And if you don't, then you can use doilies later. But seems like everybody's got doilies in their stash. And sometimes it's something that we kind of forget about. We kind of forget there are doilies there. They get stashed away. And then we don't do anything with them. So I just pulled out, this is pretty sad, I just pulled out a sampling of doilies here. I've got little ones, they're gold and purple and red, little ones in a variety of colors. I love these that are craft color. They look like they're already coffee dyed. Those are the only ones I have like that. I haven't been able to find anymore. I will look though, because that's cool. All kinds of styles and colors of white ones, getting a little bit bigger, colored ones. Look at that. That's pretty colorful. Going up to larger ones, hearts and circles. And then I have these giant ones. And when we did that sale on the public page in October, I did offer some doily packs, and they had everything from these little teeny tiny ones up to these great big ones, which are usable. And so some of you got those packs. Some of you probably already have doilies in your stash, though. You don't need to buy more. So I just pulled out a sampling, and I couldn't believe how many doilies I had that I just kind of forget. If we don't use them regularly, we kind of forget. So, but there are things to do with doilies. I'm going to pull out a couple of these colored ones. And let's see, where's the opening on this? It's over here. I'm going to grab one of these gold ones. Some of these, oh, maybe that one's. Some of these, they came in these in packs, and you punch out all the little pieces. I'm like, okay, well, that's fun until I get tired of doing that and I just want to use the doily, and I have all these little pieces all over my desk and all over my floor. So they are everywhere. All these little tiny ones in here. And there's white ones that have little tiny holes. Didn't even realize it until I picked it up to start using them. So, but we'll try a couple things with those as well. So doilies are great to coffee dye or color. I'm going to move these over, I think, and we'll just use the selection that I have right there. So let's go through some ways and some ideas that we can use doilies. And let's start with if you're coloring or coffee dyeing the doilies, I always do it on paper. Now this I just do in my splat box. This is just spray, literally. It's not even, it's not coffee dyed, but if you use just dark colors, it comes out looking coffee dyed. And I didn't set them for any design on the paper. Now I'm looking at it, kind of wish that I would have, placed them, but I always have paper lining the bottom of my splat box. And I just threw the doilies in there, got as many as I could in there to spray them, because that's these right here, this whole stack right here, they're all sprayed. None of these are coffee dyed. They're all just sprayed. but 2-in-1. So I'm spraying the doilies and I'm getting paper that is sprayed that then becomes very usable. These are great to use as pages in a journal. I would do both sides. And if you use it as a page like this could be the writing space. If you want some journaling space, and you could put some little embellishments in the corners or around it just as decoration. Do the other side as well. Or you can leave the other side this way and put something on it, if you actually wanted to do that. But so there's the first idea, to go ahead and spray them and make you some doily paper. Now that's the quick, easy, literally takes 10 seconds way. You can make you some coffee dyed paper with doilies. And this takes a little bit more effort. This is using a doily with coffee or with some of the other vegetable fruit colors that we use for stains. Now, these are like the doily tablecloths, those big plastic ones. You can lay any of those on them when you go to dye them. And isn't this paper gorgeous? I didn't do this, actually. I'm not going to take credit for this. Sarita Sales, Sarah Munson, Sara. She's the one that did this. I buy this from her when she gets around to making some. But she does a beautiful job of coffee dyeing paper with doilies and using other food stains, food dyes to make stains. You can use food coloring, anything that will get color into water, that will bleed color into water. And you can really get some gorgeous paper using your doilies that way. So I'd encourage you to do that, because this is absolutely really gorgeous in a journal like that. If you want an elegant journal, an elegant junk journal, how's that? Is that an oxymoron? I don't think so. A little bit thirsty this morning. Okay. So let's start with something super easy. This is something, this one is, these are not dyed, but this is something I use as a page or in between pages in a journal. Let me grab one of these. Didn't I just fold one of these? I did. Okay. But this is something I would use in a journal in between pages. I would put this as a page, fold it in half, and right in between. And so it gets sewn in the signature, just like this. And when you open it, you've got a pocket tuck spot here. And you can choose how deep you want to fold this. And then you can just glue it right here. It doesn't take much to hold it together. And then as you're going through the journal, when you get to the other side, the back part of the signature, you've got another one. And so this could be sprayed or coffee dyed to make it any color. And I really like using the large ones for this. This one is even larger than that one. It's so pretty, though. But when you fold them, you can choose how far in to fold it. So you can kind of look at it and say, all right, I like that right there, or I want it more of a specific pocket. Turn it this way so that I can see. If you want it to all to be matching and exact, I'll say, okay, here's a point. And if I'm going to go 2 swirlies down from that point, that would put me right here. And then if I go 2 swirlies on that side, that would put me right here. And so then I can look at that and say, all right, is that good enough? Well, no, I'd like it overlapping more. I'd like it more of a closed pocket. So let me go in a half a swirly more, and a half a swirly over here, or doily hump, or whatever you want to call that. Scallop. I guess it is a scallop, isn't it? Okay, if I did another half on each one, then that becomes a whole, and that's closed enough. That gives me enough closed pocket if I glue that down. So then I would go ahead and fold it right there. And even if you fold it a little bit or it's wrinkly or crinkly, I mean, this has been sprayed and nothing else. You can, once you fold it like this, get it exactly where you want. You can lay it down and run a quick iron over it if you want, or put some heavy books on it for an hour or two, and it will press right out. It's very thin, and it will press right out. It'll press, so which one do I want on top?
Said hi. Laura said, nice thing about swirly measurement is no conversion to metric.
Exactly. Hi, honey. I didn't even get a chance to talk to him today on lunch hour yet. Been a busy day for both of us. Good to see you. I did just see your text come in, honey.
He was just ignoring you.
No, he got out of an appointment after we went live, so I didn't even get a chance to talk to him on lunch. So maybe he can eat his salad. And oh, you mean Marianne? I'm not mean. Okay, so yeah, once you get it there, and that's where you like it. They're not even, but you know, hey, who cares about even? You're not going to see both sides at the same time, so that doesn't even really matter. Once you get it where you want it, just press it with an iron or put some heavy books on it. It'll press all the crinkles, wrinkles right out if you'd like it a little bit flatter and smoother. And just put a couple of drops of glue. You don't need much, so don't feel like you have to put a big old line, because what you don't want to do is glue your doily to the bottom because it goes through all the holes. So I'd go over here where there's a big flat space here, put a drop there, and do the same thing over here. There's a big flat space there, and then put a couple drops right in the middle. And it's going to be sewn in the signature, so it's not going anywhere. That pocket's not going to open, and it'll be good.
Oh, Julie wants to know how wide that large doily is.
How wide? This one? This giant one that I'm using right now? Let's see. Probably wider than this ruler. Diameter. I'm going to say probably 13 and a half. 14 inch doily. This one is a 14-inch doily. This one is probably 12. Just shy. So they probably call that a 12-inch doily. Yeah, so and a 12-inch works fine. This 14-inch is just larger if you want to tuck more things into the pocket or have a bigger pocket. And again, this is just sprayed. And I'll show you how I do that. It's super easy. I mean, you know, y'all know how to push a spray nozzle. Okay, so there's a good way to use large ones. If you're making a mini journal, you can use the mini ones in the same way. They work in the same way and make mini pockets. But sometimes we look at these large ones and we don't know what to do with them. You can also cut them in half, cut the large ones in half and use half of it to fold up. Not the same as this, but to fold up and use as we would some other smaller doilies. Pizza size doily. Yes. Just needs a few mushroom stickers. Cake sized. Yes. Ooh, it's lunchtime. Must be feeling hungry. Don't know which sounds better, the cake or the pizza. Okay. How about a simple pocket? This one actually can be used a couple of different ways. And most of these I've left very naked because you can decorate them any way you want. And so what I want to do is just show you the pocket or the doily fold and then, do with it what you want. But a couple of them have been a little bit embellished because they were already in my book. Okay, so this is a simple pocket. almost looks like a French fry cup. And you can leave the bottom open and use it almost like a belly band, or you can close the bottom and have it be literally just a pocket. So put tags in there or journal card. If you put it down the bottom, you could put a tall journal card. Hi, Kendall. OMG, nakedness. Oh, naked doily. I know it's white and it's naked. It looks like bear. So let's do this one. It's a super easy fold. Unfolding it, you can see right there how I did it. So this one had some square ones once, but they were tiny. I did buy some lace placemats on Amazon. They're big rectangle doilies. Nice. Laura, those are great to use as stencils when you're spraying. Sometimes they're too thick to use like gel play or for paint or things like that. It gets too thick. But for spraying, those are perfect. So hang on to those. This one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Slightly more than a 7-inch doily, it looks like. And it doesn't even have to be that size, but this is probably pretty close. This one's even a little larger. That's okay. So you take your doily and you fold it in half. This is really tough rocket science, I know, for everybody. You know, it's Monday morning and it seemed like a busy weekend for everybody, and so everybody wouldn't have to think really hard.
Oh, Kendall here. Did you see Kendall came in?
I did. I said hello to Kendall.
Oh, yeah, I missed that. Sorry. I was looking for spray.
Oh. I do have some square doilies. I don't know if I pulled any out, but square doilies are good to use, just like square pieces of paper. Okay, so on this one, then my center is this divot down in here. And so I'm going to fold it in to where my point is just past center. And I'm going to fold the other side. I'm not creasing it yet, just in case I want to move it. But I'm going to fold the other side to just past center so it overlaps this one. And if they look good, and I like that spot right there, not doing very well with that, I'm going to put it back down and go ahead and crease them. So I'm going to crease them on this first, basically on this first scallop right here. Scallop, divot, what notch, whatever it is. And the other one, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to crease it on that first scallop. Nope, that's not far enough. I need to go half. I forgot to see if I was past the center, and I wasn't. Okay, so I have to go past that little notch, or my point is not past half. I want it to go past half. And we've done this one with paper. You'll see as we finish it up here. I know you've done it. Okay, so I've got that, and you could just glue it like that, or you can take one side, doesn't matter which side, and put it inside the other side. I chose the one that got a splotch of red on it because all the rest of it is nice and antique-y. Okay. And that double gives you some nice thickness too, so it has more stability. So you could spray the other side as well. I would come in right here and I would just put a drop of glue, 2 or 3 drops right there just to push that together. Same on this side. So when I'm putting tags in or journal cards or whatever it is, I'm not going to be sticking them down there accidentally and ripping up the doily. Okay, same thing here. I would just put a drop of glue, two or three, one at this point, one at this point, and one in the middle. That's all it needs. It doesn't need much at all. And then you just need to decide, do you want to glue the bottom closed and make it just a pocket like that? Or do you want to leave the bottom open, in which it becomes more belly band like? Let's see if that will go down without catching. There we go. Becomes more belly band like, and you could position it anywhere on the page and stick something down in there. You can also put it on the page this way. If you'd prefer to see this, you can glue that down to the page. Let this be the front. Put whatever embellishment here. And then, oh, maybe this will work. It's long. Even though I didn't glue them together. Sure I'm not getting down. Got to glue the doily to itself so that when you stick this in, it'll actually go down where it's supposed to go and not just split your doily. So you could do that in the center of the page and then measure how wide it is. Take off 1/4 of an inch, and that's how wide you would want your journal card or tag that you put in it. And you could put a couple of them in it and let that go down the center and be the belly band that way. So it's pretty this way if you want to put an embellishment. It's pretty this way if you want the lace to be the embellishment. Either way. So that's a super simple but very usable pocket or belly band. That's a twofer. It's a twofer. It's a pocket belly band. Okay. How about envelopes? Love little envelopes out of doilies. They look so dainty and pretty and super easy. And this is a heart envelope or a heart doily. The heart doily gives you this nice little groove right here so easily. Okay. And it's a fairly small one. I don't even know. Let's see. We can do it with any size. So we can do it with a teeny tiny one. We'll use this purple metallic. Let's see if there's a larger heart. There's a great big heart. We could do it with a great big one. You can make a big pocket too. Okay, so to do the pocket, and you can glue this down like this and just leave it permanently to be open like that, or you can fold this over. I didn't do this on this one because I'm undecided how I'm going to use it, but you can fold this over and then glue a little button right here, or a flat back pearl is very pretty. This is really lacy and dainty, and a little flat back pearl or a little what are the, I don't those white buttons that look very pearly. That would be very pretty right there. But sometimes I'll glue it on the pocket, just leave that open so it's an open pocket to tuck things in and have a couple of different tags or things coming out. Maybe some goodies. Maybe that's where you put some extra little ephemera and decorations and things to go with that journal. Okay, so our heart, maybe a coat of some sort of sealer will make them a bit stronger, Julie. Julie, I trippy dyed some once and they fell apart. What? You tried dyeing some and they fell apart? That's really, and did I miss something farther back? What'd you say, Debbie?
I said, did she say triple dyed? Is that what she was trying to say?
Oh, I think maybe she said try. I read it again. I tried dyeing some once and they fell apart. So that's interesting because when I spray these, I feel like it actually makes them stronger. But again, I often spray instead of dye with coffee or tea. It's just faster for me. But you have to have drying time. But
the lacy part tends to get stuck or pull apart when you dye it. Something.
Oh, when you dye them? Okay, and maybe that's why. So I can spray them and lay them out, and then I can spray some more and lay them on top of them, and they don't stick to them. They come apart. They just are there. So as long as they've had a couple of seconds in the air, by the time I spray the next batch and lay them on top of them, they're totally fine. I come back the next day and pull them off and they all come off just fine. So that's interesting. So these have only been sprayed, but I do feel like it almost makes them stronger to spray them. But again, I haven't dyed them, so I can't say. But I would think if you dye them, I mean, that's totally soaking them in water. So my instinct, if I were going to dye them, would be that I'm going to get it in there and take it out fairly quickly. I'm not going to let it sit. It's not going to have the strength or stability with all this lacy part to sit in water for a long time and then be able to pick it up. Or you put it down and you spray it with coffee or tea or whatever you're using to stain it or dye it with. Maybe spray it, and you can then keep spraying until you get the look that you want. Has anybody dyed them?
I have, but I think
have more success. Oh, yeah, actually put them in the solution mix. Yes. Okay, Julie, that's exactly what I was thinking. If I put them in the coffee solution, that's just like setting them in water, and more than a couple seconds there, they just don't have the strength. They'd fall apart. But if you spray them, it probably would be more success. But when I say spray, I guess I should clarify that. I didn't spray these with coffee or tea or one of those. I sprayed them with some of the sprays we have. We'll pull that up and do that when we finish here. But I've got these old things that I got at an estate sale that I'm still trying to get through. Some of them are Tattered Angels. Some of them are Mr. Huey's. There's all kinds of things in here. They're just old sprays. So I'm trying to get rid of those. But any of the other sprays that we have, the Nuvo, the Stamperia, those are the kind that I spray them with. So, but Hot Pockets. Hot Pockets.
Isn't there a commercial about Heart Pockets? Oh,
no, Hot Pockets.
Never mind. I paid attention.
Yeah, Sylvia, are you hungry? Quit bringing up food because I'm hungry. I have me some what are they? Pumpkin seeds. I was going to say it in Spanish, but I couldn't think of the word in English. Okay.
Her pocket. She dyes her paper in hot water.
Oh.
When I dye my napkins, it's cool water.
Oh. Okay. So does hot water make a difference then, Judy? Does that help them stay together? And do you find that you can't leave them in the water very long? You just have to get them in, get them out? Maybe the hot water makes a difference. Interesting. Any other information on that, Judy? Feel free to share. Okay, so let's make a pocket. Let's make a cool pocket. No hot pockets here. All right, to make the pocket, we are going to turn our heart upside down and upside down. So not only upside down this way, but upside down this way. Okay, and so first thing I'm going to do is fold in the side, and the fold in is just to determine how wide you want your pocket. So how big do you want the pocket to be? Doesn't have to be very far. It just has to be something. Has to be some fold. So see if I've got those straight. I'll know as soon as I fold up the bottom. Okay, so that's how wide I want this pocket. And then I'm going to fold up the bottom, and I'm going to basically bring the two end points here to the two corner points of where I folded, because that's what makes the flap and the envelope. That's where they meet. So if I bring this up, so this is a wide and not very tall envelope because it was a small. I could have made it even smaller by folding it in farther. Okay, so if I bring this in to here, and this one in, that's about the same to here. And then I fold the bottom up. So you see how you can change the look of your pocket. You can change the size of your pocket by how far you fold in the sides. That's your determiner. It's how far you fold in the sides. So there's our cute little pocket. I mean, it's even got the little, you know, whatever, whoopty down here that an envelope has. Isn't that cute? And then, now you got this stuff inside. So here's what I do. Because you don't want all this stuff to get in the way when you're trying to put something in. Because that would leave you, what, about a half an inch in there to put stuff in. So what I do is glue this side that you can see purple to this side that you can see purple, and then I glue that, the white side, to this, the white side. So this all ends up glued on one side, and it just strengthens, because if I glue this down in the book, then the back is strengthened by the page. And so by gluing these three together here, it strengthens the front of my pocket, and it doesn't ever get ripped up. So all I'm going to do, and I don't want to glue, I keep forgetting to put the cap back on, and then I end up with clogged. Let's see if that works there. Because you always just have to watch for the holes in the doilies. And just remember, you know, because they're so fragile that they fall apart, that means they're fragile enough that they will stick together with ease. They don't take much adhesive at all to stick together. So just a few little dots. And I'm going to stick those two together. Now I'm right away going to get my finger in there to make sure that I don't stick it to the back. Actually, I should have done this front part first. I'll do that first on the other side so you can see the easier way. A little on the top. Hardly any glue, just kind of swiping what's there. Okay, so when I glue that, and then I go in there, I just want to make sure that it's the front isn't sticking, and it is. It always does because it goes through the holes, and so I'll put something in there like this palette knife and push down in the back so that can all go together and give it a second to adhere. That the metallic takes an extra second, longer than just the paper side. Just make sure I haven't, okay, and I haven't adhered that. So there's that corner down there. Okay, so the easier way, if I do it when I'm not talking and paying attention to what I'm doing, is to glue this napkin to itself right here. Napkin. Doily to itself right here. So just a tiny bit on the side. I glue that down first. Then to glue the two metallic pieces together. And then I'll quickly go in with something like that, or you could slide something in it, anything, anything plastic or metal, just so it's not going to stick to itself. But I'm just kind of dabbing it on places where there's doily, but it's still, you know, it squishes and it kind of squishes through. It always does. It's not a big deal as long as you put something in quickly to separate it and make sure that it doesn't stay adhered. And I just use that to smash it down towards the back. So those back three layers will adhere together and not to the palette knife. So the back three adhere together, but not the front. And just know that the foil always takes an extra couple of seconds to adhere. Didn't get any up here. Foil always takes a little bit longer to adhere because it's metallic. Haven't sprayed any of my doilies. Put some acetate in between. Could do that. A small acetate shade doily made from acetate would be cool. Yeah, doilies made from vellum. You know, that's another, oops, darn it. I didn't push that down when I pulled it out. Messed up my own envelope there. I'm going to just Tear that off right there, and it'll be just fine because that was the inside portion that came out. So acetate and the thin acetate and vellum are great things to line a doily with if you want to use it and it needs a little bit more strength because maybe it's not going to be glued down. Okay, so there's our tiny envelope. And I will just set it open like this to completely dry before I store it away in with a mass make envelope or something like that. So that can go there. So yeah, you can take a very fragile envelope and put some acetate, that thin, not the thick, heavy stuff, but that very thin, floppy stuff on it, or some, what did I say? Vellum. Vellum works nicely.
Tracing paper.
Tracing paper, yeah, that would work great.
And it's cheaper.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you usually get some kind of those things out of different packages and things. I just keep that up and go through it and find there's always something there that you can use. But you can line a doily with that to give it some extra strength and extra stability. Okay, let's make a pocket from a big heart. The teeny tiny ones are cute, but maybe you want a larger heart on the page. So I need to pull these in and decide how wide, a larger pocket, not heart. I just need to decide how wide I want the pocket. And let's see if that's my point. I want to make them equal. Maybe a pretty decent sized pocket. Let's make it that big. Okay, and I'll go the same over here. Okay, so that's my upside down and upside down heart. Fold in the two sides to however wide you want the pocket, and then just pick up the bottom. And you'll always know if you didn't fold it straight if they don't meet.
Which is every time for me.
Pretty much. So now this one, the point, it's interesting because the point is very, pretty much for me too. The point is very rounded on this one. And so that's not a super big flap up there. So put it over the black so that you can see that. So it doesn't look like quite as cool of a pocket to me. So that makes me think then if I folded it farther out so that I could have a bigger flap, and I'm not worried about the, let's see, 1, 2, I'm not worried about folds because I know that I can either press them out if I wanted to, or I could use a book. But, by the time you refold it and press it to get it where you want, and it's usually just fine. And then if you decorate it too. Okay, so if I fold it a little farther out, it's a little wider pocket or envelope. Now it really looks like an envelope. I don't know what the small one is. Like the number 10 is the big long one, but this is like that smaller size envelope. And I don't know what size that is. It looks a lot more like that and feels more like an envelope. It's got a bigger flap, like there's enough room for that to fold down. So that feels more envelope-y.
There she goes. I got words again.
That's a word, isn't it? Envelope-y?
Envelope-y? No, I don't think so.
So this one would be very pretty to fold down and then put a button, a pearl button, or even a gold button on there. And I might fold it down and put a button there, but not seal it closed because it's going to stay like that in the book. That way it could be opened. Now this is one that I might put a piece of acetate or vellum or transparent paper, any of those kinds of things on the inside to strengthen this this lid, I was going to say, the seal or the cover, the flap. Oh my goodness, the flap. Because if I'm going to do that and put a button here, but I'm going to tuck some stuff inside here, then every time it gets open, this flap is going to get weakened and take a chance of tearing. So that's where I might line it with something. So it still looks super pretty from out here, but it's much stronger getting opened over and over. And then you can tuck stuff inside it. That would be a good place to hide a bunch of extra ephemera to go with that journal. So I've got little pieces of doily.
They all love the heart pocket. Now they're talking about buying heart things, heart doilies.
Heart doily. So yep.
Our Dollar Tree usually has the heart ones. It's
yeah.
Ones all the time.
Well, let's see. We're past February, so
ours usually has them. They have the pink ones. Yeah. Ones usually.
Check Dollar Tree. I would check Dollar Tree, maybe even like Target, Walmart. You know, because
I do find them in our Dollar Tree. They do have them. Usually the ones. I can hardly ever find the circular ones, but I do find the heart ones.
Really? And I have found some of my favorite doilies that I've kept. I have found at one of the Goodwill or thrift shops.
Yeah.
So yeah. Also look in the wedding section. Look in the wedding section at Dollar Tree.
Yep, baking and wedding section sometimes have them.
Yes, Sylvia, from baking events and cooking events. Yep. Sometimes you buy something even and it comes on a doily. Yep. Well, if you're going to stain it anyway, who cares if it has a little grease stain on it, right? If you're going to coffee dye it. Okay, how about, this is one of my favorites. This one came straight out of my book. These 3 pockets that I'll put on a page like this. Of course, you don't have to. You can use one pocket at a time. You can use one pocket anywhere you want, but 3 little pockets. This came out of a book, put it on a page like that, and just put 3 tags. These are not the tags. I didn't make tags specifically to go in these. These are a little small, but they were handy, and it, gives you the idea. So they're super cute, and you can use your Nuvo drops or little flat backs or, whatever you have for the center here. And I do like these stained because that color looks pretty cool. So let's see.
Hold still for a minute. You went blurry for a second. Hold still.
Uh-oh. Okay, let me hold still. So typically for this one, if I want it to fit on most any page and in most any journal, I'll use about a 5-inch doily, roughly a 5-inch doily. So that, I believe, is a 5-inch doily right there. So I've got a few of those that are sprayed. Let's see.
I have like the 6-inch doily. They were getting rid of at work. They were getting rid of a box.
Oh, cool. And you got a whole bunch of them?
Yeah, like a box of 1,000.
Sweet. That's cool. Just doilies forever. And 6 inches is a good size to work with.
It's the small one. It's that one you got right there.
I think this
is
the
one that goes on a teacup plate. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
They use them under the little dessert plates. That's what they were using.
Very cool. Okay, this is 5.5.
Yeah, it's about 5.5, 6 inches.
Perfect. Yeah, that's a good size. That's a perfect size because if you need it just a tiny bit smaller, you can also just cut a tiny bit off, when you're doing your folds. So perfect. Okay, so on this one, I am going to first decide that maybe I don't want that big red splotch right up top there. So I'll put that on the side. But that means it's going to come around, but that'll be okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do on this one is, again, fold the 2 sides in. We do a lot of things folding the 2 sides in of doilies, don't we?
Yeah.
Fold the 2 sides in, and you can kind of look and see how wide do you want it if you want a particular tag in. But this is a 5 or 5.5 inch doily, and I will fold it in until they just overlap. Okay, I want them to overlap, but I don't want them to overlap much. There's always an outside border. See this border edge? What I'm doing is making one border on top of the other border. That's That's how much. So if you want an exact of exactly how far I'm folding in, it's one border on top of the other border. That's exactly how far. Okay, and then folding that down. Okay, and then the bottom comes up, and the bottom will come up only to where the two borders meet. Right there. So I'm going to put, it doesn't take much glue. Again, I'm going to put like 2 drops of glue here, and I'm just going to put it right on the border. And I just want them to be tiny drops because I don't want it to squish and spread everywhere. It's been sprayed, so it might take it an extra minute to adhere because the spray, you know, tends to make it slide off. I will put my finger in just to make sure that nothing's squished out and is gluing to below it. Or even better or easier than that is to stick a piece of paper or cardstock in there, or a piece of acetate. I usually have one of the heavier pieces of acetate sitting by my desk that I'll do stuff like this. So I'll put that in, put the glue on, push this down, hold it down. So, and I can do this a little bit, make sure that I know it hasn't glued to the thing below it. And so then I folded the bottom up just to where these two borders meet. And so now I'm just going to put a few drops of glue on the bottom. Am I still in frame? There we go. Okay, so right over here where there's a crease, I'll put a little in the crease. I'll put a little at the top of that on both sides. Okay, because I know there's no hole right there. And then I'm not going to put any in the center because see, it comes up there and there's really a bunch of open space beneath it. So I'll go just to the left and right of it. Boy, I was squeezing that a little too much. And just put just a tiny bit on the border only. Now, no guarantees when it comes up that it's actually going to go onto paper. It might actually go onto a hole, which is why I keep that piece of acetate or a little piece of cardstock here in. And that's perfect. And there's one pocket right like that. And then let's see. Oh no, I did not just do that.
That didn't sound good. That didn't sound good.
Did you hear the little running of tiny little feet?
Yes, I did.
Flat back pearls have tiny little feet. Oh my goodness. So you could take anything like this and cut off, you know, a tiny little bit. Actually, oh, is that right there? If it's right here, I'll use one of those and show you. Yeah, somebody's gonna have to sweep up a bunch of flat back pearls now. That was not a fun Monday event. That's not what I mean by Monday jump start. I'm just wondering if this is too big. It might be because these are little doilies, but let's find out. It might not be. It might be okay. We're going to try it and find out. Let's see. We'll try 3. If that's too much, we'll just go back to 2. 1, 2, 3. Cut between there and there. Okay. There we go. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, so there's one. And then you just take the others and do the same thing. Let's see. You can look at this and decide what do you want to be the side you fold in, because that will be, what's seen on the sides here. So I'm going to fold these two to where they just barely overlap. So I've got just that edge, the edge of one over the edge of the other. And I'll give it just a touch of glue right there. Okay, and then I will bring the bottom up just to where it meets the two that are together. Give it a touch of glue in the corner and the crease. Up at the top of that. And across the top, but not in the middle. Because the middle, there's a lot of empty space there, and I don't want to glue it to the back. I should have had my piece of cardstock in there the whole time, just to make sure. And that's exactly why. There we go. Yeah, that's why I like a piece of acetate. I have a full piece and a thin piece. That I'll use the thin piece for things like this and the full piece for larger projects. But okay. And then I'm going to grab 3 of these little guys. I like how that turned out. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Between there and there. And then when you put that on, if you cover just the top of the bottom that's folded up, you can't even see where it all comes together. Let's see, make sure I didn't glue the paper in there. That's why acetate is better. There we go. There's a second pocket. They're super quick and easy. Once they're sprayed, if you spray a bunch of them, have them sitting around, then they're super quick and easy to make. Okay. And you can spray the back side if you want the back side to match too. So you keep that in mind when you're doing them, or you don't have to until you go to use them. And then you can actually make them like this and then just give it a quick spritz on the top, because it's not going to stick together. Yeah, I layer them all the time to dry because they dry super fast, but I layer them all the time because of space, and they don't stick together. So they're not going to if you give it a little spritz after the fact. Got some glue on the inside there. Went right through a hole. Okay, I know I went through that hole and I don't want it to stick to the, yep, see it is. I need to let that dry because maybe that needs to be on top. Because I went through the hole and got on the bottom of that. So I know I'm going to cover it up with the embellishments, so I'll just switch them out and put that side on top. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Bring the bottom up. Just to where they meet. Little bit of glue in the crease. Across the top except the middle. Put that down. Stick this in here to make sure we're moving through. I waited too long to stick it in.
V-neck glosses, they look very nice.
Oh, thank you. This is nice because 3 of these and you've got a whole page.
Hello, Christy.
Hi, Christy. 3 of these and you've got a whole page in a journal. Here we go. Yeah, 3 of these is a whole page, and you can get 3 tags in there. So that's an easy page filler. Okay, so there's 1, there's 2. I just need the embellishment for the front of this one. Okay. And let's see here. These are Dollar Tree embellishments, by the way. Super easy. Some of you that got the embellishment pack at the last sale are going to get some of these in your pack. They come in all different colors too. So we took longer showing the first, but then the second and third, see how quickly they whipped up, and even embellishing them there. So good to go. So this would be a good mass make. Boy, you could make a ton of these. Even in half an hour, you could make a bunch of these.
That'd be a fun mass make, she said.
Yeah. That would, huh? If you want to mass make, so we can mass make these of all different sizes too, and even take time.
Oh, they have great bling embellishments. They do.
They do.
They have all different colors.
They do. Yeah, this actually came from Dollar Tree. You can use it as a strip, as an edging, as a trim, or cut it apart. Yeah. It cuts really easily because the whole thing is adhesive behind it. And the little flat backs are on the adhesive. So you can cut it anywhere, and you're not cutting the adhesive or not cutting the flat backs. You're just cutting the adhesive. There's a pretty blue one.
Yeah, I got that one.
Yeah, there's pink.
I got the multicolored one they had. They have teardrop shaped ones. They have all different kinds.
I don't know if I've seen black. I would really like a black one. I don't think I've seen black. I don't know that I've seen the teardrop ones either.
Yeah, they had one that were like teardrops. Oh, they had one that had, maybe that was Dollar General. I got that one at.
Huh.
They had one that had different shapes in it. It had teardrop squares, diamonds, and they were purple, one was blue.
Yeah.
There's a flip.
Okay. So they're not long strips like that, right? They're in like groupings.
No, it's a little flip book. It's a flip book.
Mm.
I'll show you.
Okay, I definitely haven't seen that. Okay, so that would be a fun mass make. You want to mass make that one? You want to mass make that one, Candy?
Yeah. Gemstone variety pack. I think I got this one at the Dollar General.
Let's see it. Here, I'll make you. Whoops. Oh, okay. Yeah, how do you
got purple, diamonds, rectangles.
Oh, that's pretty.
Blue,
yeah,
the red, and the clear.
Oh,
very cool.
That one at all.
I think that was Dollar General. I think had that one. I think maybe.
Wow, that is pretty.
Yeah, because this is Dollar General. The art skills. It was the art skills. So that's Dollar General.
I'm gonna have to go to Dollar General, but Dollar General isn't usually $1. How much were they? Do you remember?
No, I don't. They were only.
I like that roll one too.
They were only a couple dollars. They weren't much.
I think that's a deceiving name, Dollar General.
I know. Yeah, nothing in there.
Nothing but dollar. Yeah. They are part of the same family as Dollar Tree, though.
Sure they are.
But so those are really pretty. Well, somebody suggested mass make, so I will ask. Does anybody? Margie, really am asleep. Just now remembered to thumbs up. Anyway, wow, yes, please do. Thank you. Please do remember to thumbs up. Is this something that you guys want to mass make? Or do you just want to do it on your own?
I think it'd be fun mass make.
Okay.
Yeah, it would. That and then I make dresses out of the doilies.
That's next. Yep, Candy's great minds run in the same gutter, right?
That's That's what I do with mine most of the time.
I've got 4 of them sitting over there, and I can't remember. I pulled them out and set them somewhere, so they're not where they've always been because I pulled them out and set them somewhere. Can't remember where I set them. So I whipped this one up really quickly, which is larger.
Yep. She had a new store. She found a new store called Pop Shelf, and they had some really cool things too.
Really? Hi, Carrie. Yeah, these are, you know what? Let's mass make these on Thursday. While they're fresh on our mind and we just learned to do them, let's mass make these on Thursday. So if you have doilies.
Hope you get some sleep. She said she didn't sleep much last night, so she keeps yawning, so she's going to get a nap.
Me either. I didn't sleep much. I'm not yawning. I just have that heavy head, want to go to sleep. So, yeah. Laura, if you can go get a nap, go get it. Girl, you got to take a nap whenever you can get it. Definitely. Yep, Dollar Tree owned by Dollar General. They're part of that same family. If you have doilies, it doesn't matter what color. You can do these any size to fit on a page nicely like this. 5 to 6 inches is probably best. These are 5.5, so 5 to 5.5. Anything 5 to 6 inches is going to be perfect. So you can bring them white. You can bring them whatever color you have. You can coffee dye them or spray them. And before we're done, I'm going to show you how I spray them.
Top Shelf is owned by Dollar General.
Oh, okay. Okay, I didn't know that. So they're in the same family too. I haven't ever heard of Pop Shelf. I'm going to have to research that a little bit because that sounds fun. Okay, so I couldn't find the 4 that I pulled out and set over there, so I just whipped this one up a little bit bigger than what I typically make, and it's a fun embellishment, especially if you're doing a vintage or Victorian or a sewing themed journal or any of those kinds of things. And this one is completely embellished with paper and then a button. Usually I'll put a ribbon or different things like that, but you don't have to. You can use paper to make your ribbon. Somebody forgot to cut the bottom of the ribbon.
The mask maker, but she has to go get some doilies first.
Okay. Toby,
next week.
Toby, I would try to go to Dollar Tree.
Dollar Tree, Dollar General. You can usually find some there.
Is there $1.25 at Dollar Tree plus tax? And so you only need 1 pack. You really only need 1 pack. Round, 5 to 6 inches is going to be your best bet for that. Okay, I've got a couple more that I want to make sure that we have time to get to. So let's do the dress, and I'm going to do her out of this pretty gold. Candy, I've done this several different ways. I'll show you what I think is probably the easiest way to show you. And then Candy, I'd be curious if you do yours differently. Sometimes I folded it in half, off-centered like this, and use the entire doily. But here's an easy way. You get the top and the bottom out of the whole thing. I fold it in half, but I don't fold it. I'm just holding it to kind of see where half is. And I'm going to cut. I want to make sure that I'm cutting it down in one of these grooves, not on the top of a scallop. And I'm going to cut only to the center. About to the center. That's about center there. So I'm going to cut about to the center. Still can't find my long gold-handled scissors. To this point, I have never taken them off my desk. And every time I use them, I stick them back in the same spot on that cool little boom thing so that I always know where they are because they're
here. My husband said, you can't say every time because they're not there right now. That's what he tells me.
That's why I said to this point. But apparently, I didn't.
Did you check your trash can? And I will say this because I've had my scissors fall in the trash can a couple of times.
I just gave it to Doug to take out this morning. So
I can tell you I went dumpster diving.
It comes tomorrow, so I might have to go out and check it.
My little finger cutter scissors. Oh my God, I lose them things all the time. They fall off the desk. They fall right in the trash can.
But
so I try to move my trash can. I know, but when there's trash in there, you don't hear it if it hits it.
Yeah, that's true.
So I try to move my trash can, but sometimes when you're cleaning up, you put it up there and then get knocked off.
That's true. Okay, then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to cut. This has got pretty big scallops. A smaller scallop. I'll do this again with a smaller. I want 2 scallops because that's going to make the top of my dress, and that's awfully big for the top of my dress. So I'll probably cut it down, but at least I can cut it evenly from side to side. So there's a rose in the middle and the dip comes in the middle is what I want there. So then I'm going to take the rest of it. Let me get that out of my way there. Okay, I'm going to take the rest of it and I'm going to fold it. I don't want to fold it evenly because I want it to be like there's layers of the dress. So I'm going to fold it kind of off like that and then take this overlap and fold that. No, that's not right. Wait a minute. Did I do it backwards? Because I'm getting...
You kind of fold it towards the middle. You kind of make a point.
I just literally had brain damage. I've done them like this, where I go like this and fold them both over each other. And so I get 3 there. Yeah, but that's not how I did that one. I did that one slightly different. But okay, let's just do that one then. There's 3 or 4 different ways that I fold them.
Different ways. You don't have to cut out that piece either, ladies.
No, you don't. You don't. But I don't need the whole. It gets really bulky if I have the whole doily. Yeah. So if I cut that out, then I'm actually I'm going to put that one in first to make a layer, and then that one over the top.
And you can even cut them in 3 different layers and layer them up.
You can cut it any way you want, layer it any way you want.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do that, and then I could cut this piece off, or I can just wrap it around. That's not how I did that one. I just really had brain damage there. But there's one way, and that is a little smaller, and I do like them a little bit smaller. And then, do you cut this off, or do you fold it back?
I cut it off.
I've done both. I like to cut it off because it makes it less bulky. But
well, I cut up and slip the other part down inside in between.
Yeah, and you can look at that and see how far down you can fold it to see how far down you want to cut. And I still think that this is a little bit large, so it's a little bit wide.
And sometimes I'll even take the stuff off the top, the doily part of it off the top there.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and it makes it that, and I'll just use the plain, and then I'll line it with lace or ribbon or
do that. And so now, first I'm going to put a tiny bit of glue on this, and just to glue this flap down. Or I could just cut that flap off, but then I'm just going to glue.
Just folding the doily in thirds.
Yeah.
Thirds, see, in a way to make them.
Okay, so once that holds together.
Oh, you're doing.
Now I can make that, it's like a cone, and then I can stick my top right down inside of it.
Yeah.
And you can decide how far down you want to stick it. It doesn't have to meet on the edges right here, because you can put a ribbon or flowers or whatever you want around it. And so if you go, oh shoot, I cut too much off there, it doesn't have to meet there. Don't worry about that. And maybe I cut too much off the side, but no, I don't want her to have a great big top. So she's just fine right there. Okay, and so then all I'll do is just put a little bit of glue in the back, preferably inside, and a little bit in front, preferably inside. Yeah, the tired is showing on all of us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Me especially. Okay, so there's the dress. And then you can decorate it. So I don't want to decorate it with this because I wouldn't even be able to tell what it is. But this would be pretty. I hadn't even thought about this. Let me see. Or even, where's the bling that we just had? That would be pretty too. This one would be pretty.
Yep.
I'm going to try that. And I'm just going to take it around, right around the edge, because I want it to not be obvious that maybe I cut that skirt a little farther down, and so the top doesn't meet exactly. So I'm going to cut this off here. The first few times I made these, I just used the whole doily and folded it, and it was cool because it gave lots of layers, layers of the like petticoats, but it is a little bulky, so it just kind of depends on what you want to use it for, whether you want to cut it down or not. You can even cut it in half and use half of the doily to make the dress, depending on the size of the doily. Yeah. But get a much smaller dress. Maybe you just want a little dress. So then maybe I want one of these to be up top. You can decide, do I want that right on the rose? Do I want it up top? I think right on the rose, because you can't really tell it's a rose anyway. So there you go. You could do something along the bottom if you wanted. I could cut just the edge off of one of those and put a single row along the bottom of the dress. Sometimes I will go down the side. I won't do this here. Maybe I'll put a ribbon and it comes down a little bit with a bow, and then I'll do some Nouveau drops. You don't have to use embellishments like this. This is a great time to pull out liquid pearls, Nouveau drops, any of those. Just drop them up. I do them across the top, down the side, or across the bottom. And then
paper strips, make like you did that button. And
yes, set them aside to dry. This one was just a scrap sitting on my desk from something I did. Oh, from Saturday night. This was a scrap from Saturday Night Live. And this was all one long strip. And so I took the end of it and cut the end of it in half. And so I just took 2 paper strips and glued them there and then put a button over where it met so that it looked like it was all tied up in a nice little bow. So that is the little doily dress. And those can be done any size. And there was was it with all the stickers. This, are you talking about this, Julie?
What stickers is she talking about? I didn't know about stickers.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't like, this is one long embellishment, and then this is another pack of embellishments, and I've just been cutting pieces off and using them there. So that's smaller. That is a little bit smaller. Here's Christy. Christy's a little lost. If you take a doily and fold it in half, but fold it in half so that they don't exactly meet. Let's see, which side do I want to be longer? I guess it doesn't matter. I'll just fold it according to which one I want. Which one is longer? Okay, fold the doily in half, but so that the 2 sides don't meet. What? Not a perfect fold? We're always trying to fold it perfectly. Now you're telling me that too. Okay, and then if you take this and fold it into thirds, you can fold it like this. There's 1/3. Make sure I'm on screen there. In frame, Marianne, in frame. Okay, so I folded 1/3.
Yeah, the smaller doilies work best for this.
And the second third.
Inch ones.
Okay, there's a skirt with layers, with petticoat layers. So that's half of the doily. So if I took this doily and cut it in half, I could do it with half the doily. I wouldn't have 6 layers, I would have 3 layers, but I only have 3 layers on this one, and it looks fine. So you can take one doily, cut it straight in half, and make
the skirt, and then you have the other half to make the top.
right.
That's how I usually do it.
Do you? Okay. Or I'll like go along here.
Unless I want a bulky one for like a cover or something.
Yeah, exactly. Then you want it to be dimensional and stand out.
Yeah.
And now, do you do your top? Do you fold that in thirds as well? Or do you use a single?
A lot of times I do it in half. I cut the half in another half. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm half, and then I'll fold it to get the shape I want.
Okay, I'm going to do that.
So it's a little bit thicker up top, so it doesn't tear as easy.
Yeah. And I usually adhere that dress down because. So you can even do it like that and just have a double, but it's kind of, it does seem kind of wide that way. So we'll make a little girl here. And then the top. So you fold this in half.
I cut it. Yeah, I'll cut that in half.
Cut that in half and then fold that in half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or however big I want it, depending on the
and if you needed to, you could fold this into thirds, and then you've got a very dimensional. If she wanted it to be bulky, then you could do that. But yeah, so you can cut out one piece, which is what I did there. Or what Candy's saying is she cuts this half in half. Now you've got another top for another one. So if you're mass making these.
Or another layer, if you need another layer on top.
You're not going to have to waste any.
Yeah.
And so then she does this, folds it in half, cuts it in half, folds it in half, and there's the top. But maybe you want another layer of skirt, bring that over and put it behind. Let me open this up and
I'll lay it over the top so it covers up the plane. You know what I'm saying? Where I just wrap it around. It just depends. When I'm making them, once you've made a couple, you make a couple without cutting it because that's the easiest way.
Yeah, you can add that.
And then you're like, oh, let me just cut this because I don't want this bulky. I mean,
right. Yeah, I don't see that anyway. It's a little bit bulky. Let me just cut it off. And you don't even have to cut this off if you don't want to, especially if you're gluing it down. And I don't like this edge over here sometimes because I can't always get it to lay down straight depending where I've cut it.
I fold those like
so.
I usually fold to the center. That's
there you go. Yep, I'll fold that into the center
to get the shape that I want to make sure.
Fold that into the center, and I'll just start with a little bit and see. Oh, that's still maybe a little bit big. So then I'll fold it in a little bit farther. That's what she's saying, until she gets the shape that she wants.
Yeah, that's all you're doing. You're just trying to get the shape and the look.
Okay, I like that. Now this is sticking up a little, so all I have to do is clip that off in the back. Clip that off in the back. Okay. This doesn't matter. It's going to be hidden. Okay, so there's the top. So if you're gluing it down, you could glue that down, and then you can bring this over. And if I'm just making another layer with this, I can decide where I want it. Do I want it farther over here? Do I want it farther over here? Do I want it right in the middle?
In the front, covering up all the plane.
Up here? Oh, up here.
Take it up, and then I wrap it around and cut off.
You could do that. So say that's great for me. That's not.
Yeah, it gives you another layer.
Yeah, so you get the layer behind or the layer in front if you don't want the.
I just piece them together, ladies. Sometimes I just have to do pieces and I just start putting them together.
Yep. And you can do this, honestly, you could do this with the doily scraps too.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that makes me think I could even do one of those kind of dresses. If I folded it a little bit stronger, you could do one of those where this end comes down and it comes up.
Mm-hmm.
And make her a flamenco dancer.
Yeah. Or you can use lace to make that look.
Or I'm going to.
So I put lace down the side sometimes.
Yeah. I think I'm going to fold this just a slightly different. And so it. And you just keep folding it. Yeah, just fold it.
Do the same way Marianne does. All she's doing, and all it is just folding it the way you want it to look. That's all I do. There's no set way that I do it, ladies. I just, depending on the size of the doily hat.
Candy, they're looking for the set wave.
I don't.
That's the problem. Okay.
I will tell you that when I started, I think it was G Kerr that has it.
Remember
that I did it from hers, and then it makes that the bulky one like Marianne did, where she doesn't fold it quite in half, and then she folds it. That was a little bulky for me, so I just started playing with it after that, and I just put them together. I don't.
And it depends. Sometimes you want it a little bit bulkier. Sometimes you don't.
If I want different colors, I take doilies and I cut them because I have doilies that are sprayed different colors.
Yes.
Different colored layers.
Or take one of these and layer it in there would be pretty, or this one.
Yeah.
Would be pretty layered in there.
Out of it or whatever.
You just cut out a piece of it. I was looking for.
I don't.
Okay, this is.
Well, but I don't tend to fold them as much anymore. I tend to piece them together.
Piece them? Yeah. Well, they do lay flatter if you piece them. That is true. And if you are using doilies for things and you have a bunch of
all I do is play with it until I get the shape I want. And I will tell you that sometimes it's easier, like if you have like a like when I first started, and it's been a while, but I had like a little paper doll, you know, a skinny doll, and I would put it on her. Do you know where I would place the pieces of doily to make it look like a skirt on her and see how it would look? You know, and not that I'd glue it to her, but I would just
but just to set it on her.
Help me get the shape in my mind better.
Okay. I'll just cut that.
How to get it to flare the way I want it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that's all I do. Usually I have pieces like this.
Let's see here. I didn't cut that as deep as, so I'm just going to tear that, see if that goes deep enough. Might need to be all the way to the center. I thought this colored one would be
pretty because it's got in it. Yeah.
Okay, so look, if you want a lot of layers, and use one doily, and I mean, what they're looking for is an exact. How do I do this? Not, figure it out. So if I'm going to cut out a little piece that's going to be her top, the bodice. Right? No.
Paper dolls shows more interest.
That's funny.
Where they take a person and from a magazine and they make the dress for her.
Yeah.
Out of scrap paper. That's kind of what you're doing. You're just doing it with a doily.
So I'm going to take of this one that I've cut this piece out. I'm going to tape the left part, the left side, and I'm going to fold it underneath. Now, I'm not going to glue this one because I will turn it over and I will spray the back so it's not white. Because it's bright and colorful.
Unless you want the white. I mean,
right. I'll see how it looks, but I'll probably spray it. But okay, so I'm going to fold this under, and I want it to go longer than the front so that I can see a layer. Boy, this is flimsy too. I didn't realize it was so flimsy.
That's why a lot of times I don't cut them because I get tired of.
Yeah, and we'll do a cut one too because one way is going to be easier for some of you. Other way is going to be easier for others of you. So, okay, so I folded the left side underneath, and I'm going to...
You're making an upside down cone. Just think of it that way. You're making an upside down cone.
Right. Folded it underneath, and it's longer than the front, right? And now I'm going to take this one, and I'm just going to fold it around the back. And this one, I want to be even higher than that one. It doesn't matter if this is folded on that corner or not. Just fold it till this goes around and makes a whole nother layer. This isn't as pretty in layers, honestly. If it had white layers in between it, because it's too busy.
And that's when I started cutting it, because then I could get my white layer on the back.
You can see. And then if I just wrap that around and glued that right there, then I have the one layer here, the second layer here, the third layer there. And I just glue pieces down that aren't working. And then put the top, but this is really holy too. Look at that. So it's not going to cut apart.
I fold it. I'm like, let me just cut this and I'll make it lay the way I want it to lay. And that's how I started to cut.
Okay, look, I'm going to take some scraps here. I've got some scraps of doilies. Yeah. And with these scraps, I'm going to show you what Candy's talking about. I should have plenty of Plenty of scraps. Okay, so here's one that's a pretty scrap. And one of these would make a pretty bodice, wouldn't it? Maybe that would make a pretty top, or that one, because they're already fairly small.
The other, that real pretty one on there.
Okay, so I'm going to take this little guy down here and I'm going to cut it. So Candy's saying you can just cut pieces and then you can layer the pieces. You don't have to fold. You can take bits and pieces of whatever's left over, or take your doily and fold something to about the size you want and then just cut it off. So maybe I've cut that off and that's the first piece. And then I like that as the next layer. Do I want it that way? Do I want it that way? Or do I want that one underneath?
Or do you want it turned backwards so it has more white?
Or do you want, the white showing
on the second layer of the first layer?
So this one has quite a bit of white sticking out. So I maybe I want it like that. And then here's a gold but lacy layer. Maybe that goes over the top of both of them. Maybe. Maybe it does. And wrap it around. Yep.
Strengthens it.
Yep. And I can either cut those off or just wrap around and glue. And there you've got 3 layers right there that are very pretty. And then let's see, I need a top. Okay, I could take one of these and I could use that right there and I could cut it off. I can't keep hold of that one.
I usually fold to see if I like it. I'll fold it.
I don't like that with it. This is one from the other one, but that would work. But I kind of like, okay, so if I like those 3 as the dress, the skirt, then I'm going to just glue them together before I do anything else, just so they'll stay together. Doesn't take much.
Just a dot.
Especially if you're going to glue it down. Especially if you're going to glue it down to a page. Just a dot here and there. Usually scraping off what's already bubbled out of the end of my nozzle. Okay, so there's my skirt. And
now blurry again.
sorry. Slow down.
Just let it sit.
Slow down, you move too fast. I do like this little divot down here as the bodice because it makes a natural neckline. And then that rose in the center is pretty. So I think I'm going to take this one and I'm going to cut it wider than I think I want, just so I have plenty of room to make adjustments and not be cut short.
I will say the folded edges look a little better if you fold the edge, because it makes it so it's not so stark.
So I didn't cut that one wide enough. I would like to have cut that a little wider and fold it. However, on the bodice, it's a little harder because if I fold it, it's going to show through. I'm going to see the white or gold, whatever it is, I'm going to see that through, and I don't really want to see that through. So I will go ahead and cut this side down a little bit. And you can always put something on the edge. Okay, that can go right on top because that's kind of a perfect waistband right there. So if I wanted to just glue that right on there, it's got something to hold on to. Are they even straight? No, but whose dress is straight? I've never had a dress that's straight.
I have a bit of embellishment anyway.
But yeah, and then as I was going to say, if you don't like those open edges, then you just embellish it.
And this might work if you want to make a tiny one, because if you're using a whole doily, it makes a fairly big dress.
Yes, and depending on the size.
Yeah, depending on the little tiny one, you can piece it together as tiny as you want. If you just want like a little accent in the corner.
And if you have little tiny heart ones, they make great bodice.
Yep.
Great bodice there. I was looking to see if I brought any of the little teeny tiny ones out. I don't know. I thought I did, but maybe I didn't. You could make one out of gold or silver. That would be pretty. I would do something on the back so I don't have that stark white. So this one's even smaller than the last one that we made. This one's pretty kind of standard size because I used the whole doily. So, but pick up the parts and pieces, the odds and ends, and just make one That really does look like a waistband on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Could totally leave it alone.
Little ribbon across it.
Yeah, little ribbon. I could put this on it too.
Yeah.
But I'm going to leave it. Depending on where I use it, I might want a ribbon, or I might.
I wrap Sorry Silk around one of them. I have one that I wrap Sorry.
Yeah. Yep. And then wrap it around and make a tiny little tie or bow right here.
Let the
hang down.
I have it sitting here. I had it.
Oh, cool. Here, let me put it on you so that you can show them.
These are the some I have left. So I wanted. This is a little fat one I made.
That's cute.
And then
look at the long skirt. Oh, that's pretty. The lavender. That's pretty.
And I there's a little trim on the top and here's.
And you can do that trim on the top.
I haven't colored this one yet. But the Sorry Silk I wrapped around it.
That's pretty. And look at the long skirt. You can do.
This is what I was working on.
The trim on the top that she has, you can do that with your Nuvo drops or your perfect pearls.
I haven't done this one.
Pearls. I mean, not perfect pearls.
Yeah, sitting there to go together. That's all I do. I piece them together.
Yeah. Easy enough. Easy enough to do. Okay, so that's our little lady dress. And they are, those of you who are card makers, those are super cute on a card, on the front of a card, with a little sentiment that something that, somebody would say. Is very cute. Okay, let's move right along because we're down to 20 minutes. All right, I've got two more sitting here that I want to be sure to show you because they're both good ones. And I think we can do them in 20 minutes just fine. All right, I'll move that over too. Oh, there's another skirt. Put it with this one, and I'll attach that one later. Okay, let me grab a drink here.
Margie said Father's Day card. I laugh out loud.
Yeah, haha. Okay. So the next one, it's impressive with the stuff in it, but I'm going to show you without the stuff in it so you can see what it is. This is like a cone. That's all it is. It's like an ice cream cone. But I forget what they call those things. They have like flat metal squish things that you put on the wall, or they could be plastic and then you stick flowers in them on the wall. I know they have a name, but this one is out of paper, and so it's going to be squished flat, and then you can stick here. These were the ugliest yellow flowers I'd ever seen. Even the centers were ugly, and I literally just about threw them away. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to try spraying them and see if I can change them. Glennis, they were not pretty yellow. They were like puke yellow or baby poop yellow. They were not in any way. I thought, I can't even send these to Glennis. She wouldn't even like these. They're awful. So, because I like yellow, but they were not good. So I could take these and I could just with a tiny bit of glue put, you could get a whole bunch in here, probably 5, but I'd probably do like 3, like one there. They only need a little glue to attach. Getting stuck on the doily. One there, and then I would bring one more up behind, and I would just glue the flower to the flower if it doesn't quite reach the doily, and just glue them in that way. That's very pretty. Or paper flowers, like die cuts, which I just realized I don't have any right near me. But say you die cut out some flowers.
Margie said she likes kitten bouquets.
Oh no. Oh, maybe you die cut some flowers and you stick the die cut flowers in here. Imagine that die cut. It's very pretty with die cut flowers coming out of it. Things coming out, not great big, giant, but just coming out in the top, and then maybe a couple wispy green things coming out over the side. And my fold, my edge is right there. And so I just covered the edge with the bling, and so you don't even see it. Super, super easy to do. And you can make them any size. These could be made large, from a very large doily and used on a cover or a whole page, or they could be made small. This one is the same size. This is actually, I think, the size that I used for this one. So let's see if there's one left that's even smaller, and do a little bit smaller. Oh, look, I've got these doilies too. These are die cut. These are regular paper die cut doilies. This is not the best kind for that, because it has too much open in the center. You want one that has decor around the outside, but is more solid in the center. And all I'm going to do, and here again, it doesn't matter the size of your doily. You can make the cone whatever size you want. So if I go like this, and I'm just going to hold it until I kind of get the cone where I want, I'm going to look at that and say, is that about the size that I want? If not, no, I'd really like it smaller, taller and thinner. I'm going to end up cutting some of this off, and that's great scraps that I'm going to use on other things. So I'm okay with that. But maybe, okay, let me just do this. If I put this down wherever, you can always put one side down with wherever, and the other side can determine, I'm going to bring these to a point. Wherever I am, I'm going to bring it to a point. The other side will determine how big your pocket is. So if I just bring it right to the edge here, that's how big my cone is. So if I want a wide cone like that, great. You can always turn it around and have the cone like this on your page too, and decorate that, just like that belly band type thing we did at the beginning. Or I can go over a little farther. Do I like that size of cone? I think I like that. But what if I went even a little farther? Oh, that's getting a little skinny. Hard to put anything in. So let me go back here. And all you have to do is just work with it until you get to the size. Now I've got so many folds in it, it doesn't know where to go. Get to the size cone that you like. And when it's a size cone that you like, then you go, well, I'm gonna make one that I will actually use. So a little bit bigger, like some room to put something in. Okay. When you get to the cone I would actually like, then all you do is crease it. Press it down and crease it. So you've creased both sides. Okay. Now this overhang right here, I could either fold it around if I feel it needs stability and just glue it on. I already have 1 layer, 2 layers, 3 layers, so it's okay on stability. I could cut it right off. Either way, doesn't make any difference. But let me open it. I've got my creases so I know where it's going. Okay, when I creased it, this part got folded over because that's extra. So I can leave it in there if I want. It is going to bulk up my book a little bit. So this is where you can say, I like that bulk. I want it to look a little more dimensional. I'll leave that. Or I want it as flat as possible. I don't want any extra bulk. So I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to cut. And I'm not going to cut on that fold because it's still going to have a little bulky fold. I'm going to cut to the other side of the fold because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's straight and it doesn't matter if it's short. Cut short because this is folding over it, right? And it's completely covered. And if I go to the other side of it, then I've cut off enough that I have enough of a little scrap that I could use with some other things. Ooh, that would go with one of the things we're doing on Saturday for Scrap Busters. Okay, so I'm going to put, before I do that, I'm going to put just little drops of glue on this, just a couple, to hold the top on. It really does not take much. Get my finger in there to make sure that it doesn't go through any holes. And I'm going to come over here and put just a tiny bit of glue on the flap. And it might take you an extra second or two to get it to hold, because if you've sprayed it like I have, because I've sprayed this, so it's got, you know, some metallic spray, some other spray. Okay, and then I'm squishing my cone to make sure that my cone opens. I don't know that I need it open all the way down there, but, you know, just in case I decide whatever I put in is going to be long and pointy, there it opens. Okay, so that's very pretty. And then I could take this bling and I could put that right up the side. That matches the dresses. So if I think I might want to use, matches the one dress. If I think I might want to use this in the same book, if I do that, it will tie those two things together. It also matches these pockets. So if I wanted it to use those in the same book, then I'm carrying this bling through on several different things, and so they match. If you like this look, you can do that with some ribbon and some bling. Get a lot of this kind of bling at Dollar Tree. This one was an embellishment that I had. It's a Prima, and that has the ribbon with that bling right there on it. So that's how I did that one. So let me see here. This one's smaller, so I'm looking at that thinking, well, that might be a little overkill because that's pretty thick. That's a pretty big bling. I definitely won't need anything else on there. That's going to pretty much cover up the whole thing. It's just too much. It's just too big, too overwhelming. I thought it was very nice on this one, but a little too much on that one. Okay, I need to slow down. Sorry if I'm moving my hands too fast. Okay, so I'm going to take this one. Let's see how long. I want it to go all the way up to the top and come down to the point. Wow, that'll be perfect to the point. Let's see. I will probably just need to cut one little section off, I'm thinking. I'm holding this up so that it doesn't stick to the other side on the top. Okay, I'll cut those little off on the outside there. Could have got those in a little farther, but they're fine. Okay, and then I'm going to come up to the top and I'm going to cut this last flat back off with the little stuff that surrounds it and leave the one before it whole. I need to grab my little tiny scissors. These are awfully awkward. Trying not to cut the paper at the same time. And now it's stuck to the paper, so come on. Can't get a hold of that without ripping the paper as I try to hold it back. Okay, it's that one little tiny guy right there, stuck to the paper. Let me see if I can get underneath. He just wants to hang on. Man.
Julie said, "Thank you for this jump start. Even this tired old lady has gotten motivated by your all those. So go to my coffee."
I'm so glad. Yeah, that one little guy right there just wants to hang on and see if I can get him from the other direction. He's planted it in there. I I can get between them, but it's hard to get underneath the sticky. And if it's going to tear the doily, maybe I can just squeeze it off the top. There we go. There we go. Okay. Oh, got to get the bottom too. So now I got a few extra bling pieces left here. And this one, let's see. I have to decide whether I want to leave that large one on or take it off too. I'll decide. I'll think about that. So, oh, get in frame. There we go. So 2 different ways to decorate. And you could totally skip that. I like it because it covers my raw edge that I pulled over, that when I folded it. You don't have to do that though. Maybe you just want to put some kind of decor on the front. Or maybe you want to turn it around this way. And so this is what you see, and you want your decor back here. Okay, so many different ways there. All right, so that is I forget what it's called. It's a little flower pocket, but it has a name. Those squished things that go up on the wall to hold flowers. I just don't remember what they're called right now. Okay, the last one is a really great way to use doily scraps. And this makes a very nice page in a journal. You would just put it in your signature with everything else. I got another one. You just put it in your signature as a page. And when you come to it, you could leave this as writing space. You could put a little pocket over here with a journal card and have writing space. Whatever you want to do, that. You could put some bling down here on top of the ribbon, but it's just a great way to use up the doily scraps. These scraps are not all from the same doily. In fact, there's 3 different doilies. I can see 2 of the scraps are the same, and then there's 2 that are different. So that's 3 different doilies used in the scraps there. And I just cut it off right at the edge. And so it just completely embellishes a full page. That's all you need to do on that whole page. I do like that. So the way, go ahead, Candy.
I said that's really pretty.
Yeah, and if you take the time to coffee dye paper, I really hate throwing away, or coffee dye or spray doilies. I really hate throwing away any part of it. It just feels like I'm wasting it after working so hard to make it. So all you do is take your paper. I like to fold it in half because then as I'm looking at it, I know that I'm looking at it the size that it will actually be in the book. Get that bling out of the way. Okay, and we've got a bunch of scraps here. Let's see if there's enough that we can piece something together here to be pretty. Well, that's going to be a dress, so we'll set that aside. We've got this. That's pretty. We've got more of that. And you can put any kind of ribbon, or you could put a paper trim border down over it. I just put a ribbon. Okay, and that's another one of the same. All right, so this one is different. That's very colorful. That's a little colorful. And I'm just going to cut them off. I'm just going to cut them off where I need them to be. There. Okay, so we don't have a ton to work with, but we got enough. We got enough to work with here. Okay, so maybe I do those 3 across the bottom. And I do like the layering effect. Maybe I bring this one in and layer it over the top right there, and this one and layer it over the top right there. I could even move them down farther and then bring this one and layer it over the top in the center. Yeah, I kind of like that. Just simple. All right, so for me, it's easier to turn it this way. And I need to have an idea of where to cut them off because I can even let them overlap, which is fine. I need to have an idea where to cut them off so that when I put the ribbon on, it will cover the base of all of them. So I'll just take a ribbon and say, if I put it down here, is that going to cover everything the way I want it? Well, it pretty much is good on everything except this one down here just has a little bit longer base. So I'll just cut a little bit off of that one. No big deal. Maybe even a little more, just so they're all about the same size. Okay. And then it doesn't take much glue. I don't put very much at all. Just like wipe off the edge of the end of the, I can go back and put a little more later. So a couple spots where there's, in fact, I put it across, on the rows or on the top, and I don't usually put it on the bottom. I leave the bottom free floating in case I need to go back and trim it up a little bit to make it shorter. Because, I'll get them all on there and then find that one sticks underneath the ribbon. So I just leave that bottom free floating until I'm completely done.
Julie and Sylvia said that page was really beautiful. Your sample.
Oh,
and then Julie goes, here I was folding it all in the doily because I didn't want leftovers. Now you want leftovers to do this one.
Oh yeah. I love having the doily scraps because then I can do this and there's a whole nother page decorated with no effort at all. And it's beautiful. Yeah. So, yep. Don't fold it all in. You just add bulk. Anywhere you have bulk, you can cut out the bulk and use your scraps like this. And just throw these scraps into a little baggie or a little box. Remember this Saturday. Don't forget this Saturday. Don't leave us hanging here alone. This Saturday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Mountain Time, we're going to be here live celebrating Happy Paper People birthday. It'll be a scrap busting day. I have a whole list of things that we're going to do with scraps. So bring your scraps like this, doilies. I've got things that we need these little tiny bits and pieces like this for. They're perfect. And bring strips, scraps of paper, scraps of cardstock, scraps of fabric, little ones, scraps of lace, scraps of crocheted doilies, of whatever it is. Bring all those scraps with you, definitely, because we are going to be busting some scraps.
Ooh, I've got to get a cake.
Yes. Everybody get okay. I don't think Doug's here anymore because it's after 1 and he has an appointment at 1. So this is Saturday. Sunday is Mother's Day and Doug's birthday is Monday. And so he doesn't know it. He's going to be here with us for part of the day on Saturday. I'm sure he'll be doing errands, but he's going to come in and hang with us and work on some of his creative things. And I told him we just wanted to spend some time with him, but I'm going to get a cake. Everybody get a cake. I'll probably get a cheesecake because he loves cheesecake. And we'll
peanut butter.
And we'll sing happy birthday. He'll think we're singing happy birthday to Happy Paper People, and we'll sing happy birthday to Happy Paper People and Doug. And maybe I'll even dig up a candle. I don't know if I have any candles anymore. Make him blow out a candle. I'll put a camera on it so you can see.
Yeah, the birthday thing this weekend, Julie.
This weekend, yeah. So we'll celebrate that. So everybody get your own cake so you can enjoy some cake while we're doing that for Happy Paper People and for Doug. Okay, so now I'm going to test my ribbon one more time before I glue the bottoms down. If this is the ribbon I'm going to use. And sometimes I'll put like a strip of something. Do I have anything close by here? A strip of something wider. And then, I don't know. Like say it was this, a strip of something wider and then a strip of something thinner down the middle and maybe something a little bit darker than the other. Or maybe you really want to bling it up.
Watercolor underneath before you put that would put the on. Put some watercolor on the background to make it.
That would be pretty too. If you really want to bling it up, you could put that down, maybe even a little wider one, and put this over it.
Yeah, pretty. Sylvia has to wood burn a letter S onto a small wood box, so she might be doing that this Saturday.
Oh, very cool. Doug will be wood burning, Sylvia. That's awesome. That'll be awesome, Sauce.
Judy told Dawn you can go around the pages with tiny pieces of roses or anything. You have extra scraps of them. They look very nice. Yeah.
Yes.
I've seen it done with pieces of paper all the way around. I think Gail's done.
Okay, does that cover? That pretty much covers enough of everything. All right. So now I can go back and just get a couple of drops of glue here and there to glue these bottoms down. I'm not going to really worry about them because if I put the ribbon over it, it's going to take care of that anyway. But some of them, the edges aren't all glued down either. And it just doesn't take much glue to hold down doilies. So really, Okay, so there's those. And now when I do my ribbon, I am going to do that with Fabri-Tac just because I like the way Fabri-Tac holds with anything fabric or ribbon to paper. And so I know that it's going to cover this edge. So if I go down with one bead all the way down the edge, I should be just fine, right?
The birthday this weekend is for Happy Paper People. The group is 3 years old this weekend. Well, it was 3 year olds is on the 18th of April, was it?
April 18th. Yeah, it's the same birthday as my son's birthday.
On the 7th, which is National
We're celebrating.
Yeah,
we're celebrating on the 7th.
We're kind of doing a thing.
Yeah, we're throwing in National Scrapbooking Day, so you have an excuse to play in paper all day. We're throwing in National Scrapbooking Day, Happy Paper People's birthday, Mother's Day for all y'all. Get to celebrate, get a cake for yourself. And Doug's birthday, we'll just give him a little surprise there because normally I'd spend the weekend with him on his birthday. Since I'm spending it with you, I don't want him to think I forgot him. Okay, then I'm just going to trim that edge off with the paper and come over here and trim this edge off with the paper. And this one had just a slight bit of pink on these, and pink and purple. So I really like your idea of watercolor. A little bit of watercolor under there would have been very pretty, and it still would be over here. This has some really nice texture from the copy dyeing too.
Do it randomly. I mean, it just you can add some color.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or my favorite, black on the edge, and then put that on.
Oh yeah, I know. I look black on everything.
A darker edge, and then put that on the whatever ink. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, the doilies like this would be pretty in the black and white book, and put a wider piece of black ribbon down. And then a piece of ivory or white on top of it, or gold. If you had sprayed these gold, a piece of gold on top of it. Well, we're out of time.
We don't. That's a great idea for some specific scraps I have. Ding, 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 ding.
Yay! That's the goal. That's the goal. And if the scraps that you don't use by Saturday, bring them. So what we're going to do Saturday, we are going to. I've got a whole list of scrap busting ideas. So if you spend the whole day with us, you will have made some progress on your scraps. We're going to do a scrap busting idea here and there all throughout the day. They're all quick, easy, and use up a lot of scraps. We are going to have drawings, door prize drawings throughout the day. All throughout the day. I've got a box going of things I've been putting into it, special things, and they're not all paper. I don't know if anybody goes to the beach in the summer, but I got something really cool in there that I'm excited to give to somebody. Some fun things that we'll do door prizes and give away. Some will be smaller things so we can give away a bunch, and some will be a couple of nice large gifts. So you definitely want to be here for that. We've got games going. Candy, we need to work on those final things for the games.
Yeah, we need to list of scrap words. You want me to do it or you want me to do it?
So, say that again.
You want me to put the list together or you want to do it?
Do you have time right after this? Let's do it together.
Okay.
Or do you have time?
Yeah, I have time.
Okay. We've got 4 or 5 games that we're going to play. We'll get a bingo card. I think Candy's already got that together. We'll get that up in the group fairly quickly and in a post, and we'll pin it to the top so you can print out the bingo card to play bingo. And all of the games, we can do them, a little bit here, a little bit there, so you can jump in and play, whenever you can, whatever you can.
Okay. We need to explain the bingo card because it might be confusing on words. You guys, we're going to give you a list of words and give you a blank bingo card. Then you have to write in those words in the spaces you want, and then get dressed.
Yeah. So
when
we put it in a post, we'll explain it in the post too. But yeah, so your bingo card will be blank. It'll look like this. It'll have all the squares, and it'll say BINGO over the top. And then with it, she'll have a PDF that you could print out if you want with a whole list of words. You pick whatever words you want. What did we decide? 24 words, I think it is. And you write a word. Write a word in every square. One word in every square. Center can be a freebie. We'll go ahead and make it a freebie before we put it in there. So write a word in every square. And then here's the thing, guys. You got to hear this. You need to write the words in the square, and you need to take a picture of it and message it to Candy, right? Are they messaging to you?
Yeah, they can do it to me. We're going to
message it to
we'll put that in the message.
Okay, yeah, message it to Debbie, Glynis, Candy, or me. We'll make sure that they're all consolidated, and that has to be messaged in by Friday afternoon. We'll say Friday at 5 my time, which is 4 Pacific. That's 6 Central. They have to be messaged by Friday so that we have time to organize and know that they're there. And that is to keep it fair, because if you do that and you send it in, and then the next day we're calling words and somebody suddenly has a bingo and they didn't send their card in, they could have just written in the words that we called, right? And so this is to make it fair for those of you who are, playing the game. You don't want somebody else to take it from you. We just want it to be fun for everybody. So you need to fill in the card, take a picture of it, send it to one of us so that we've got anybody on admin you can send it to. We have to have that by Friday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. That's 4 Pacific, 6 Central, 7 Eastern, in order to play the bingo game on Saturday. And then you just have your bingo card out. You'll have printed it out so you can write your words on it, obviously. You keep that with you. And when we play bingo, and you could print it out and write it a couple of times, right? Because we'll do bingo more than once probably through the day. Right? I think, yeah. So they can use the same bingo card. Can't they?
Well, I missed something. I was reading something.
Oh, that's okay. They can print out the bingo card more than once and use it more than once during the day if we play bingo more than once, right?
Yeah. If we do it more than once, they got to keep the same card, or they have to submit to the 2 before. You know what I'm saying?
Well, okay. We need to talk about that because the multiple cards for one. Okay. All right. We'll put all the rules and exactly how that's going to work in the post with it. Just watch for the post. It'll be in the group and it'll be pinned to the top. So, okay. We need to go so that we have time to work on that. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. I think that's it. Thursday mass make. You guys want to mass make these little pockets? Let's do that on Thursday. So get 5.
No. We didn't have any doilies, so she needs
to. Oh, Toby, are you able to get to Dollar Tree?
Let's do that one next Thursday.
Unless Toby can get to Dollar Tree by Thursday. Yeah. Toby, are you still here?
Can you make your own doily?
You can.
Could. You could.
Do you have dyes or?
People can make some doilies, maybe.
You could cut them out like snowflakes, but the heart, yeah. You just want the outside to have a solid spot. The outside not to be ends hanging out. So yes, today's hashtag Monday Jumpstart Doilies, and I forgot to print it out again. I typed it in.
It's in the title of the video.
Oh, I did. Yes, I've been pretty good about that. Hashtag Monday Jumpstart Doilies. Toby, are you still here? Dawn, are you next Thursday? Not this Thursday. Not like 3 days from now. Okay. We'll do it next week. Prepare your doilies. We'll do that. We'll do that next week then. All right, so I'll put up a different one for this Thursday. And by Thursday, we can talk about Saturday again. So if there's any questions about bingo, because it'll already be in the group for you to print out at that time. So anyway, I got to run. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for a great Monday Jumpstart. Made this tired old lady a little bit more energized. appreciate y'all and the energy that you bring. We really do love that.
Yes, please. Love it.
Have the rest of a great day, the rest of a great week, and we will see you in the group.
Love y'all.
Love you.
Bye-bye.